Welcome to Straight Out of Avernus, a Baldur's Gate 3 podcast. My name is Drew, one of your hosts, and I'm joined, as always, with my good friend. It's Andrew. How's it going, mate?
There was some hesitation there.
Yeah, I've come up with a joke.
Oh, okay. All right, go for it.
Just like our topic, there was 3 attempts to starting this episode.
Yes. This is attempt number 3, 4.
We're in 3.
We're in 3.
We're in 3. So if like the trio of not quite alive deities that we're going to be discussing today is anything to go by, 3's the lucky charm. 3's the lucky number. It's the magic number, I've heard. So this is the one.
Okay, attempt number 3. Here we go. We got this.
How's your week going?
My week in general is going fine. I started a new job yesterday, so that's fun.
Oh, congrats, mate.
Yeah, cheers.
Last night my 4-year-old pulled her curtains off the wall.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So she came downstairs at like 11 o'clock and was like, "Dad, my curtains are broken." I was like, "Oh, really?"
That's annoying, because they could be a pain in the ass to fix or replace.
She pulled the raw plugs out.
Oh wow, that's some strong 4-year-old you've got.
I don't know what she was doing.
Jesus, where did she get those strength genes from? Because
it was a little bit annoying because I just like settled in to play some BG3.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been playing as much recently.
No, neither have I.
I've just it's not that I've lost my enthusiasm. I've just, after that initial burst of just like, I need to play all the time. It's now kind of like, I have to kind of do life and things.
Yeah,
so I'll play when I can.
Life's kind of got back in the way a bit.
So I just settled in. I was just about to get into the end of Act 2, and then I had to. And my 4-year-old starts pulling the house down. So, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep, send her to the shed with no dinner.
Yeah, right. Here's a hammer and a screwdriver. Good luck.
But yeah, no, I've been just in between work and life and the wife hogging the PC.
Yeah, she's doing well.
She's logged about as many hours as I have, which is quite impressive because she likes games, but usually our relationship is kind of I play games, she watches, and that's how we work. That's how we roll. But we've had to come up with a rota system for the computer.
There's a rota.
So yeah, it's 9:25 in the evening at the moment, and I had the computer for about half an hour when I got home from work before she did. And then she's had it since dinner onwards.
I think you guys just need to like not go on holiday and just invest in a second PC.
Holiday's already booked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh well, never mind.
Yeah. What a shame.
Hey, I'm just about to leave Act 2. I think I'm in the last couple of like. I just need to go to the waypoint now to leave Act 2.
Very good. Yeah. Enjoy.
It was fun.
You're about to get a pretty big moment before you jump right into Act 3. There's like a nice big story beat that you can look forward to.
We've got a little bit of a topic today. I'm gonna do a little bit of a lore dive.
Oh, another one?
Yeah, man. We've been requested to delve into a topic. I don't know why it's related to Baldur's Gate 3. I mean,
nothing to do with Baldur's Gate 3.
I guess there might be some linkage, but I don't really see it.
No, who are these fools that we're talking about?
Ah. Hey Andrew, have you got a D20 there?
Jesus Christ! All right, here we go again. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I've got one. Hold on, let me pick one.
One that's a nice colour.
I'm gonna pick my little like glass-looking one that I think Amy sent me a link for. So there you go.
Ooh.
She'll be happy with that shout out.
Yeah, there she goes.
Yeah, there you go.
She doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, I think she does.
No
doesn't
way.
Play, yeah, he doesn't play the game, but she listens. She's a Because she's just that nice of a person.
Also, he's just so just dull.
That other person isn't getting a mention this week.
Good. Fuck him. Right. Let's return to where we left off on our last lore episode. You come to consciousness.
Wait. When did I get knocked out?
Hang on.
Okay.
You've rolled bad on your checks. Shut up. You come to consciousness.
This is railroading.
Shut up. You come to consciousness. Your head hurts. You start to like go back through the kind of foggy haze of like scrambled memory, and you seem to remember seeing figures emerging from mist on the city street as a little scampy, deep-voiced lad who is leading you one direction led you into what may have been a trap. You're beginning to suspect was a trap. And as your kind of senses and your feelings start to return to you, you start to feel that you're lying on something uncomfortable, jagged, rough. It's very dark in your surroundings as you kind of open your eyes and your kind of blurry vision kind of comes to you. What do you want to do?
I want to have a feel around and find out what I'm lying on top of. What is this?
You kind of stretch back with your hands, and you kind of start to kind of like use. They kind of stretch out like spiders' legs and start to kind of feel around you. You're kind of lying on like a pile of something, and as you kind of like put your finger, it kind of like your finger kind of scratches along the edges of something kind of rough, and then it kind of moves, and there's a smooth section, then like a gap your finger enters, and then you run your finger across like something kind of not serrated but kind of edged, and then you kind of start to realize that you are lying on a pile of skulls.
Oh god, that's not a good place to be.
It's not comfy either.
No story has ever ended well when someone's lying on a pile of skulls.
What do you do?
I'm going to freak out for a little bit.
Okay.
And then...
Roll Constitution saving throw.
6.
You just vomit down your front. You just kind of go. You just kind of just do a, and it just like comes right all over yourself.
Well, luckily I'm a wizard and I have prestidigitation, so I'll clean that right up.
This is canon now. You're a wizard for any other future.
I'm a wizard,
future
and last
vids.
time we established I had dark vision.
Oh yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So and as your kind of dark vision sets in the very low light that you have,
yeah,
you can see that you're in arched stone chamber almost, and you kind of stand, turn back, and just see this kind of pile of bones and skulls all kind of arranged in a manner that's, I mean, pleasing to somebody, but not to you.
I'm gonna look for a way out.
You turn, and there is an open arch on the other end of this chamber, and you can see through it a kind of a red flickering glow.
I'll head towards the light.
Okay. As you head forward, a corridor stretches out to your left and to your right, disappearing into darkness.
I cast
the path.
Mage Armor.
Okay. Just kind of yellow shield appears momentarily and then kind of fades. The corridor stretches and disappearing into darkness on both sides. The path is uneven and pockmarked, and there's kind of cracks and fissures in the stone. And you see that on your left there's like a torch mounted to the wall that's low. It's like running low on its fuel, or it's on its wood source, and it's sort of working its way down. And you kind of notice that there's some sort of like what the light is showing. It's kind of showing on some sort of marking or kind of cave drawing or something on the wall opposite. The path to your right just leads to complete darkness.
Well, I'll see if I can ascertain as to what this inscription on the wall is.
It's low light, your head's a bit fuzzy. Do a religion check.
15.
Oh, nice. You start to kind of piece together little bits of picture. You see a kind of a devilish figure, tall and red in armor, with horns on its head, brandishing a whip over like hunched over people who look to be in like subjugation bent at the feet of this big figure. One of the other ones is one of the other kind of figures etched on this wall is made of bones, is covered in a hood and cowl, and is kind of just being followed on like below by kind of skeleton minions that are kind of etched in grotesque detail. And the final is a hunched over beast, clutching a dripping dagger, seeming to be sinking it into the back of somebody else. With that religion check, you recognise these figures as Bane, the Lord of Tyranny, Baal, the Lord of Murder, and Merkel, the Master of Bones.
Well, they all sound like stand-up guys.
Yes, and as you're investigating this, you hear a low chanting coming from further up ahead in the tunnel.
I mean, what kind of adventure would I be if I didn't head towards chanting?
And as you kind of lead forward into darkness, we might come back to this story another time.
Oh man. Oh no.
Hey guys, we're talking about the Dead 3 today.
Dead 3.
I scurried away into the internet and tried my best to pick up some details on these lads that would be of interest to you and our listener, hopefully, because apparently they have some involvement in Baldur's Gate 3.
Apparently so. We'll maybe preface this episode by saying we might have some minor Act 2 spoilers for Baldur's Gate 3.
I mean, if you don't want to know anything, and then I start talking about, oh, by the way, the Dead 3 are in this game. I mean...
We do.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, why click on this episode?
Yeah, they're... Because the Dead 3 are, we'll say, associated with the three main antagonists of this game.
Sure. And I mean, I think that's... If you've watched any of the trailers, that's fairly obvious. If you know anything about Baldur's Gate 1 and 2...
Which I do not.
You might know there's a little bit of crossover here.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm gonna just give you a little ramble about what I found out. I'm gonna present to the class. Yeah, sure. So what I kind of went over in that little opening there is kind of the Dead 3 as I was introduced to them in the Descent into Avernus campaign.
Oh yes.
Because at the beginning of that campaign, the Cult of the Dead 3 are just dicking about, and I mean, their stat blocks of those minions are really great.
Yes, yeah, and like we mentioned before, that little dungeon crawl you do is a very early dungeon crawl, and it's tough, it's hard.
And I mean, I will use those stat blocks in other things; they're really good, but. I liked them a lot when I first kind of met them, and I wanted to know more about them.
They are some interesting fellas, for sure.
And in terms of like Faerun, in terms of like the Faerun's kind of pantheon and the Faerun sort of wealth of characters, the Faerun shared universe, I guess, like they are like big bads almost. They're like the Thanoses. And I like that their story kind of starts like where they come from. I kind of imagine that like long ago, hundreds of years ago, like your village is in a bit of bother because like some primordial god is like being a dickhead and like breaking stuff and like breaking the town, making the land rubbish.
We've entered ancient Greece, I see.
Yeah, welcome. Don't be a woman. Watch out for rain. Because Zeus might be in it or something. And then all of a sudden, all your prayers and your kind of hopes and dreams and fears are answered as an adventuring party arrive in town. A tall warrior in clad armor, a kind of a slimy necromancer, and then this kind of assassiny rogue chap. And they go off into the swamp where this primordial's been kicking about, and there's some sort of battle must have taken place because they return unscathed and looking stronger than they did before. So the story of Bane and Bala Merkel sort of starts off with these three chaps who decide that they're going to pool their efforts together and become gods.
They just decided that one day.
It's unknown where the kind of deal was struck, but these three ambitious and powerful men wanted to take that further, and they saw potential. More they could do more as a trio than just as individuals.
Important to note that they were once upon a time just dudes,
just adventuring mortals.
Yeah,
and so they would seek powerful entities, and they would steal what's known as like their spark. I think it's called their divine spark, and this would kind of elevate them and make them grow in power. Continue to grow, get stronger, and they had a goal. They were going to seek out the god Jurgal, Jurgal.
Yeah,
he was the scribe of the dead. He was known, but he was also he had the domains of death, murder, and strife under his kind of umbrella of a god. I found out also that in canon, or like at some point in canon, Jurgal is like a big praying mantis.
Okay, is it just one of the forms he can take, or
I think that's like his prime form. He's actually like a Netherese god.
Oh right, okay.
But he's like one of his forms is like a big praying mantis, and I just was just like, what even is this
for a god of death? And yeah, I know him as the scribe of the dead and like a record keeper.
I just imagined him as like an old wizened dude, but like praying mantis. Okay, I mean it kind of works with like death, because I mean. They like just
they kill.
I love you, but sauce. I'm hungry too. So you gotta eat. But yeah, the three lads, they eventually got enough power that they could enter Jurgal's domain. And it's like this kind of death domain. There was like skeletons everywhere. They had to fight their way through like zombies and liches and all sorts of like just crap. And eventually they reached a place called the Bone Throne.
Oh yeah, okay. There's
Jurgal's Bone Throne.
There's a demon lord called Gritst, who is known for all sorts of debauchery, and
he's probably got a bone throne as well.
He's probably got a bone throne of a different kind, yeah.
He's got a bone swing as well.
Yeah.
And to their surprise, when they arrived, like ready to fight a god, like we're gonna take him down, we're gonna fuck him up. Jurgal was just like he was over it. he was just like, they show up like, we're here to kill you, and he was like, whatever.
Am I right in thinking? Maybe this is treading on your toes a little bit. Am I right in thinking he just kind of just quits?
Yeah, they show up ready to kill him. They're like, they're like outside his office, outside the Bone Throne, and they're like, right boys, right, I'm Bane. I'm gonna take him head on. I'm gonna like run right into him, whilst you, Merkel, you cast a big awesome fuck off spell, and you, Bal, you got behind him. You just stab him in the back, right? Big old stab, critical hit, assassin shit, and we'll kill a god, right? And they kick the door in. And Jurgal's like, finally! I'm so glad you're here. Because apparently his domain of death was really boring. He's not like a god of like the afterlife.
Yeah.
He's a god of just being dead, or like kind of like that, the in between bit.
Yeah.
He was a record keeper. He would just like oh yeah, Jimmy passed. Let me just make a note of that.
Can I point out this is hinted at quite well actually in the Ruined Temple.
Oh really?
Because you can find it's either sarcophagi, I don't know. And there's like I think there's inscriptions next to them, or there's like books or something you can read, and it has people's names and how they died.
Oh right, okay. Oh yeah, I think I have found that. Yeah. Maybe that's where I pulled that from.
And I think this is before you go into the main chamber, and one of your party members goes, Jurgal, Lord of the Dead, Scribe of the Dead. So it's hinted at. Yeah,
so they kind of go like, well, they're deflated. They kind of go like, well, we're here to become gods or whatever. And Jurgal sort of goes like, okay, fine. Who wants it? and the three of them sort of go like, "Oh shit!" And before they know it, they're fighting.
Oh right, okay.
They start to have like a big scrap, like wizard v fighter v rogue, high level, like beyond 20th level, just having a big scrap in his chamber. And Jergal,
he's just packing his bags in the background.
Yeah, he's just like he's looking at his watch. He kind of goes like, "Right, lads, this has been a nice distraction and all, but I kind of want to like quit. So how about we split up my portfolio and you can have a bit each?" Mm-hmm. And the three lads were like, "Oh, that's a good idea. How are we going to decide who gets what?" And Jergal kind of like thinks about it for a second. He's like, and then his phone goes off. And he's like, "Hang on a minute, I need to take this. Hello." And then the guy on the other end goes, "Hey, cousin, it's me, Roman. You want to go bowling?" And Jergal sort of goes like, I fucking got it. He puts the phone down. He goes, "Right, we're going to play bowling. We're going to bowl for it. Whoa. We're going to bowl. Yes, this is canon. Okay. We're gonna play like a game where we're gonna bowl. We're gonna do bowling."
Oh my god! Who comes up with this nonsense?
It's true. So the dead three had to like roll liches' heads to like Skittles to try and knock them down to like see who's going to get.
When you dive deep into like Tolkien lore, and you're like, "Oh yeah, Shelob's mother. She was a even bigger spider, the size of a mountain, who died by eating herself."
Yeah, or just look up Tom Bombadil.
Yeah, who comes up with this crap?
But anyway, another god showed up. A god named Malar, who's a kind of a god of like lycanthropes and like evil nature. He tipped up trying to do the same thing, and Jergal was like, "I don't really want him to have it. So instead of this bowling game that I contrived, how about I just snap off 3 of my fingers?" And he does, and he says, "Whoever picks the biggest one gets to choose first."
Right.
And it's Bane who pulls the biggest finger, and he says, "I choose to rule for all eternity as the ultimate tyrant. I can induce hatred and strife at a whim, and all will bow down before me whilst in my kingdom." And he chooses the domain of strife.
Sure.
And then it was
perfectly ordinary domain to choose.
I just think it's strange that like they all kind of ended up with what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like the Necromancer Merkel got the second one. He got the second biggest, and he goes like, but I choose dead. But I choose the dead, and by doing so, I truly win. All things must die, even gods. And he's kind of taking a jab at Bane, you know, like, I'm going to outlast you. But then Baal, who gets the smallest finger and the domain of murder, says, "I choose death. I can destroy your kingdoms, Bane, by murdering your subjects, and I can starve yours, Merkel, by staying my hand." And he becomes the Lord of Murder. And in that moment, like Jergal like dusts his hands of the whole thing. He reattaches the fingers. I don't know. And then these 3 lads who were mortals are elevated to godhood
after a bowling game, essentially.
After a bowling minigame that kind of had to get abandoned.
Some other guy just showed up. I was like, "Oh no, sorry, this is a party of 4." we have already input the names on the screen. You can't just join.
So they.
What happened to him? Did he get turned away? Did he leave?
I don't know what happened to him. I think I just heard that he was like he tried to interrupt, and they were just like, let's do something else.
Okay.
We don't want this weird monkey fella to like join in. I don't know if you've like the only picture I've seen of Malar is like kind of like a werewolf, like mandrill. You know, like the apes.
Like a weremonkey.
Yeah, kind of. That's the kind of only picture I've ever seen of him. But anyway, so Bane, he becomes like known as the Lord of Darkness, the Black Hand, the Dark One, and he taking the domain of strife, he kind of warps it and becomes like a god of tyranny, and of like he's a lawful evil. He's very devilish. I get very devil vibes from Bane. I've actually, in my research, I actually started listening to an audiobook of one of the stories, kind of around a part of their story, and he's featured heavily so far, and he's got like a very kind of he's always depicted like in armor, clad in armor, and with horns on his head. So I get a very kind of devilly vibe from him. And he kind of as a god, as the god of tyranny and of strife, he kind of appeals to like like dictators and people who want the strength to kind of like a bad boss might be like, oh man, I really wish I could channel some tyranny right now. And yeah, so like anyone that wishes to conquer a land or take over, kind of have control, that's his deal. That's what he likes in his followers and in his kind of worship. Next is Merkel, the necromancer, who becomes known as the Lord of Bones, the Reaper, the Lord of the Dead. He sort of takes Jergal's place on the Bone Throne.
He gets to keep the Bone Throne. That's cool.
He gets to keep the Bone Throne.
Lucky guy.
And like Bane sort of twisted Jergal's portfolio, twisted the thing he was given. Mm-hmm. He stays a god of death. However, he starts to kind of twist it a bit. Like Jergal doesn't like death. He wasn't a big fan of the dead, as in undead. But Merkel loves them.
Right. Okay, I see.
So he starts all these corpses come through, eh? Zombies everywhere, skeletons.
Because from what I kind of knew of Jergal before, I didn't really put him as an evil god.
He's not really. No,
he's a god of recording dead, and just his domain is death. But he's not like a bad dude.
Maybe you'd like pray to Jergal. Like, I'm beefing it. I'll just send him a prayer.
I had a player in a campaign who played a cleric of Jergal, and their whole background was that they came from like a family of undertakers.
Yeah, that's very much Jergal's vibe. Yeah, very very fitting. But yes, Merkel, his avatar, like his kind of persona, his fursona, is like is the stereotypical like death. He has like a reaper and a hooded cloak, and a scythe. And he kind of like he kind of starts to rule through fear, like
very grim reaper.
Yeah, the fear of death, the fear of passing away. Like you don't know what's going to happen to your soul if he gets his hands on it. And he shows up in the first bit of this book that I've started listening to, and everyone just kind of avoids him. People just are like, not him, not the death guy. He's so creepy, he's so weird. But the final of the three, Baal, the Lord of Murder, the Dread Lord, he was an assassin before, and he sort of like takes that on board 100% and becomes. I imagine, like, I've been learning a lot recently about like how the gods get their power and how the power is distributed. I can't imagine a lot of people worshipping Baal. But what I mean by that is that because part of his worship is you have to kill someone every 10 days.
Oh right, okay, that's a big ask, I suppose.
And if you miss that 10 days, you got to do 2 in the next 10 days.
Right. Okay.
So it's like Baal is like, he must be very tricky to worship. However, I mean, if maybe he's like, I kind of shows up in the moment of killing, like I better just do a pray to Baal in this moment. I don't know. I think he's a very strange concept to have a god around.
Yeah, I suppose you got very sadistic, I suppose, to worship Baal.
And apparently he has lots of different forms, and that might play into that kind of rogue, kind of changeable nature that he has to take on. Like one of them is just like a kind of a ghastly, kind of gross, grotty, slimy human. And it's just known as the Slayer, I guess. He's got one. It's called the Ravager, and it's like a 30-foot monster. That's the best description I got.
Okay.
And then his third one is called like, oh, here we go, dyslexia coming in. Kazgoroth, Khazgoroth.
Sure.
And that's like he's a shapeshifter. Like he can change in and out of forms and become different things. Which I think might have something to do with somebody in Baldur's Gate 3.
That could possibly have something to do with that person, indeed.
Maybe.
I did do a little bit. I didn't come into this completely blind on the Dead 3. I did a portion of research.
How dare
so
you?
I could be prepared to ask relevant questions. And one of the things I learned about changing forms and stuff, or having different avatars and aspects and how they might appear to people. Apparently, one of Jurgil's favourite ways to appear to people was as the sound of a closing book.
That's awesome.
That's where he manifested himself. Yes, I thought that was so cool.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice sound. It's a finality.
Yeah. That's how he likes to appear to people.
When you finish the book and you close it, hump, and then that's a. I wonder but then Bal is just ah like.
Please stop.
Ah, my spleen. So these lads reached divinity on all on their own steam, you know, like they made it.
Yeah, well done.
But it's like once you're there,
what's next?
What do you do next? Yeah, what's next? Oh, we've kind of gone stagnant. We've reached godhood. I want more. And this is where a really big event in the Faerun kind of mythology took place. And this is where I'm going to kind of ramble a bit more about some. I said this is the book that I'm reading is about this event, and it's really cool. It's a really cool idea. Although the book, right, it was clearly written a while ago,
right?
Because it was like a female caster, a female wizard, and she's trying to like get in amongst these adventurers, and they're like, ugh, a woman casting spells. Oh, but the weirdest thing is, it's a woman reading the audiobook.
Okay.
And I'm like, this must have been very awkward to read. It's good so far, but I mean, apart from this, like, the guy's like, better go find that woman, eh? How, you know what I mean? It's like, it's very much a
very
product
80s.
Yeah, very product of its time. Of that, you know, it was going to be just kind of nerds that were going to be nerd boys that were going to be reading this book anyway.
That's true. The hobby wasn't exactly didn't have as wide a net that it does now.
Anyway, back to Bane Bal Merkel. So, in the Forgotten Realms mythology, there are these items called the Tablets of Fate, and they were created by God. You know, there's because there's like one, there is like a one God, isn't there as well? Yeah, his name's Ao or Io, and he's like above all the pantheon.
Yeah, because these gods in Faerun lore, they're kind of like the Greek gods in a way that they can be killed, they can die.
Yeah, they can be killed. They kind of have like they're just like people almost. You know, like the kind of Greek gods, like in the sense that like they're just like Zeus is just a big man.
They're just incredibly powerful people.
Yeah, and I it's not the way I like my gods to be, but I don't mind it also. I mean, I think a lot of the time it's because a lot of normal people get elevated to gods, I guess. Yeah. So like in the beginning, it's like in the beginning of the book, it's like starts off in the heavens, and the gods are kind of like all standing around a water cooler, just having a blether, you know. But yeah, so there's these things called the Tablets of Fate, and these are like things that are kind of used to kind of create balance in the multiverse. They were actually used to split the two worlds of Abir and Tyrell, because Abir Tyrell was once one world, but then they split it in half, and it was like a part of that process. But also the Tablets of Fate have on them all the gods and their kind of domains and their portfolios on them, so like it kind of categorizes where they sit and what their powers are and that kind of thing. So Bane and Merkel sort of look side eye each other and sort of go like, how about we steal them, and then we can put on our names whatever we want.
Right.
We could become like the greatest gods. We could scrub everyone else's names off and just have ours. How about we just do that then? And they pinch the Tablets of Fate from under Helm's nose. Oh, silly Helm. So Io comes back from like the shops, and he like comes into the Tablet of Fate room, and they're not there. And he's like, "Oh fuck, shit, like Helm, what's happened? Like the Tablets of Fate are gone. It must have been one of the gods taking it, right? Because like normal folk can't get up here. Right, call the gods in. Call them all in." So they call, all the gods get summoned, and Ao's like, right, it was he calls him in, and he's like, "Which one of you stole the tablets of fate? It was fucking one of you." And
disgusting.
so,
Great
he's
image.
like, he's got his hands on his hips, and he's like staring at daggers at all the gods. And all the gods, like most of the gods, had nothing to do with it, apart from three of them. And like they're not saying anything, and the rest of the gods are like, "Well, we didn't do anything. You can't be flinging this kind of shade about." And I was just like, "Right, fuck it, all he is out," and he just boots them all out of heaven.
Nice.
All of them. He's just like, "Get out!" and he just kicks every god out of heaven, apart from Helm. He keeps Helm.
Because it couldn't have been him.
Well, one, yes, but then no, maybe not. Helm was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," but he kept Helm basically to keep guard on the door of heaven.
Sure, yeah. The guy who's meant to be guarding the tablets of fate.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "Right, for your penance, you're going to just stand there, and you're not letting them in."
Okay.
So all the gods fall to earth, and they kind of fall in like mortal form. They kind of land and kind of have to kind of grab onto like a host almost.
Okay.
To survive, and then everything fucks up. Like magic goes batshit. Like it all collapses. Things just start happening. Like no spells work properly. Because because Mistra's not in control of the weave. She's been hoofed out. Your cleric spells just start failing. There's a bit in the book where it talks about like a wizard trying to cast a spell, but ends up inside one of the globes of invulnerability.
Oh yeah.
But he can't break it.
Of course.
He's just stuck in it.
Oh dear.
And he dies of starvation.
Oh god. Is this like a novel, or is it like a
Yeah. Well, it was the it was basically
I want to get it. What's it called?
I'll find it for you later. It's called the Avatar series, I think.
Not to be confused with
the
Avatar series.
With Cameron's, with the Avatar series or the Avatar series.
Yeah, the two Avatar series.
There's a few.
And there's a great live action movie.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently so. Anyway, moving away from that trash. Where was I? Oh yeah, also two wizards get into a fight in a market and they try and cast spells on each other, but one of them just like ends up covering like the entire place in webs. Like just rains webs. So it's just like nothing's working unless you're like a mile from the god that you worship.
Okay.
So just like shit's crazy, y'all. And in this time of troubles, which is the kind of era, it was actually the
Northern Ireland.
Oh Jesus Christ! It was actually the oh no! It was actually
oh no!
It was actually the transition between first edition and second edition.
Okay.
So they were like changing rules and things, and they had to try to find a way to explain it. So all this shit happened. The Dead Three have control of the Tablets of Fate, and they're like, ha, this is the plan. I've not finished the book yet, but I know that a group of plucky adventurers arrive on the scene to kind of sort stuff out.
Good on them.
And in this event, when the gods become mortal, like Bane, Baal, and Merkel kind of get a bit unstuck. Bane is killed by Torm, another god.
Okay.
Who's made mortal. I think they have a scrap, but they kill each other, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
Merkel fights with one of the adventurers who's like her name's Midnight in the story, but she is like an avatar or a kind of chosen of Mystra.
Okay.
And they fight on the top of Blackstaff Tower in Waterdeep, and she defeats Merkel, and he kind of beefs it there.
That's pretty cool. I know Waterdeep. We've been there.
Yeah, we've been there. Interestingly enough, Mystra, in her arrogance, tried to get back into heaven.
Of course she did.
She was like, "Do you know what? I'm beyond all of this. I'm going back. I'm going back to my heaven house. Fuck you." And I'm going home. She goes up the stairs, and Helm's there in his big armor and that. And she's like, "I'll have pass, please." ID. It's like, sorry, mister, you've got trainers on, you're not getting in. And she tries to get past him, but because she's a mortal and he's a god, he just punches her in the chest and she explodes.
Okay, so that's like the first time she dies.
No, this is the second time she
she's
dies.
already died. Okay, she died a lot.
And then magic goes even worse, like because she dies. So Midnight defeats Merkel on Blackstaff Tower, kind of stopping his plans, and Baal ends up fighting another one of the adventurers, a guy called Cyric, who's like a roguey assassin. They fight on like a bridge near Baldur's Gate, and Cyric kills Baal with a sword called God's Bane.
That'll do it.
And the Dead Three are basically like their plan to achieve even more godhood and even more power just failed. Went awry and went amok, and they were all dead.
Well, Drew, that must be the story over. If the Dead Three are dead,
not
they
quite.
They can't possibly recover from that.
There's more. Trust me, there's more.
More lore?
So after the time of troubles kind of came to like a kind of an end, Io kind of went, right, everybody back in, right? You've learned your lesson. Everyone back up to heaven. Apart from you three, you guys you're not allowed in anymore. Sorry. So the Dead Three are like not. It's like some of the like Torm, the god that fought Bane, is resurrected.
Okay.
And he's like, come back in, Torm. You did well. I think Torm like kept up his portfolio, kept up his tenants. So it was like I was like, you did all right, mate. You did all right, kid. Back up into heaven. But you three, you're not coming back. Sorry. I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here.
It would not be a straight out over in this episode without tangents.
Because he's shown up in the story I'm reading. The story I'm reading is about three. It seems to be about these three characters: Midnight, Cyric, who I've mentioned, who killed Baal, and another guy called Kelemvor, who's like an adventurer warrior.
Okay.
It's about these three guys, and I think after the time of troubles, Midnight becomes Mystra. She kind of like takes Mistra's place.
Right. Okay.
And then Io sort of turns and he's like, we don't have a dead god anymore. Hey, you, Cyric, you sleazy assassin man. you want to be god of death? And Cyric's like, yeah, sure. So I didn't mention when Merkel became the god of dead.
Yeah.
Jurgal stuck around as like an advisor.
So he advised Merkel.
Yeah, I should have mentioned this.
Okay.
So I did say
I
that,
was about to ask during all this times of trouble was like
Was
Jurgal
Jurgal
just chilling on a beach.
Yeah, but he came in as like an advisor, but he didn't like Merkel's way of doing things because Merkel kept resurrecting dead things. And he was like, this is not how I would have done it. And then so like Merkel leaves, he's not allowed back in, and then this guy Cyric shows up. But and Jurgal's like, cool, a new guy, right? Let's teach him the ropes. But Cyric is insane.
More insane than Merkel.
Yes.
Okay.
And like, I don't know the full extent of it. I just know that he's mad, and he's known as the Mad God. Cyric's like he's a bastard, and he hated Midnight, and he hated Kelemvor, and he wanted them both dead. And he's like now the god. He thought Kelemvor was dead.
Okay.
In their adventure, I don't know the full story. This is me rambling now. But anyway, this is the tangent continuing. He discovered that like to get more power, you have to get more worshippers.
Yeah.
As part of the time of trouble ending, Io was kind of like, you gods have been you guys have been a bit stupid. You've been kind of vying for power in ways that you shouldn't. So now, if you want more power, you have to get people to worship you.
Okay, that's where that kind of comes from.
Yeah, that's where that kind of comes from. And Cyric discovers this, and he's like, but what if I make a book that if people read it, they become my worshipper?
Okay.
You know, it's like, aha! And then I just hide it on a bus. And before you know it...
Everyone's reading this book.
Everyone's going to start worshipping me. And he's like, aha, I'm a genius. And then he looks at the book and he goes like, but what if I read it?
Right, okay.
So he reads the book that makes him worship himself.
Okay.
And it nearly destroys him. Like, he goes nuts. He goes absolutely insane.
That's pretty cool. I like that lore. That's good.
It's great. It's really cool. But yeah, so he starts going crazy. He starts going nuts. Like Jurgal's sitting there going like, "Ah, fuck this guy," and he's just like talking to himself. He's drawing with like shit on the walls and stuff, and he starts going like, "I'm gonna fight. Like I'm the god of death," and Kelemvor, this guy I don't like, is dead. I'm gonna find his soul, and I'm gonna destroy it because I'm a bastard. So he goes looking for this guy called Kelemvor, but he can't find him. He's like, I don't understand. Where the fuck is he? And he keeps having this vision that Kelemvor is going to show up on his door and kill him. Mm-hmm. He's like, I need to sort this out. And in his kind of madness, he destroys the sword Godbane, which he used to kill Baal. And I don't know the full story, but Kelemvor pops out of it.
He was in the sword?
He was in the sword.
Ah, cool.
So when he destroyed the sword, Kelemvor pops out. And Siric's like, Kelemvor, what are you doing here? And Kelemvor beats the shit out of him.
Nice.
And then kicks him out. And kicks him out of the bone zone. The bone zone.
Bone zone.
Kicks him out.
But I think Gritz is one of those too.
Yeah, he kicks him off the bone throne, and he takes his place. He takes his portfolio.
Yes, I was wondering when Kelemvor was going to come into it because I'm aware of him being a god of death as well.
And Kelemvor becomes the new god of death. Yeah. Sitting on the bone throne, he kind of reshapes it. He kind of becomes when people go to death, he kind of becomes like the guiding hand. He kind of becomes like the kind of like when you die, like it's like a pat on the shoulder from like a that figure. Mm-hmm. You know, he becomes that kind of god of death. And Sirik, I think Siric's up to something right now. I don't know. He's nuts. He's off there somewhere doing something. But how do we get from here? The dead three.
I don't know, Drew.
So. The dead three, right? They're all dead. They're not coming back.
Yeah, not coming back. Ever.
Well, they do a bit of a Voldemort.
Oh, okay, I see.
All three of them did a little bit of skullduggery. Mm-hmm. Bane had a son when he was mortal, a guy called Zim. I think it's spelled Zvim. Sure. Yeah, right.
Fantasy spellings, just whatever.
It doesn't matter because Bane explodes him and like pops out of him, like a chest burster in Aliens.
Nice, I love that.
He's like, I'm here. He's not a god anymore. He's still a powerful entity, but he's not a god.
Okay.
But he just blew his son up and popped out of him. Merkel is a bit more of a. He kind of did the Horcrux thing. There's a artifact known as the Crown of Horns. And it's kind of like...
You could wear that on the Bone Throne.
You could wear it on the Bone Throne, the Crown of Horns on the Bone Throne. Irresistible. And he kind of uses that to kind of spread his influence, to kind of keep himself in the kind of zeitgeist. Not as a god of death, but as like the Reaper. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a mystery of where the Crown of Horns is going to appear. Baal, on the other hand...
How's he coming back?
He might have had a little premonition of his death.
Oh.
And he puts a series of events in order to kind of bring himself back. And that leads on to the events of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2.
Interesting. Okay.
That we might talk about another time.
Oh, that's a cliffhanger.
Kind of. But yeah, that was where my research took me. I've enjoyed deep diving into these three lads.
Yeah, no, it's good. I've enjoyed not having to deep dive and just having you tell me all about it.
Sure, but I mean, I feel like I just kind of scratched the surface. I've only just started this book.
Oh, we could do a Dead 3 Part 2, I'm sure.
I mean, I'm sure I'll learn more. Mm-hmm. But as gods, as like guys in a pantheon, mm-hmm. I love them.
And they are like the lowest of the low in terms of godhood, right? I mean, like on the god hierarchy, they're down there.
I can understand. I can understand a lot of people worshipping Bane. You know, like, I want to be powerful. I want to be stronger. I'm not going to sign a deal with the devil. I'll become a cleric of Bane. Mm-hmm. And then the Merkel, I can be kind of I kind of understand like the, you know, I'm scared of him. I want my soul to go to the right place. I don't want to be a zombie. I'll give him some of my worship because some of the gods are kind of worshipped out of fear.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, there's is it Bashaba? Not Bashaba. Isn't Umberlee, the god of the sea?
Isn't Loth kind of also kind of?
Kind of, yeah. Loth's in that the drow goddess. Yeah, she kind of fits in that kind of that kind of zone.
Yeah, she just doesn't give them a choice. It's like, worship me, or else you'll just end.
No, she's more like, I'll just turn you into like a half spider.
Oh yeah, yep.
How about that? And then you've got Baal, who's just like the idea of his worship is just bizarre.
Well, you run into some Baal worshippers in Act 3, and
I think I've met one of them.
Yeah, you'll have met one of them in Act 2.
And she's unhinged.
They are insane.
I love it. It's great. I'm gonna give you, Andrew, a bit of a spoiler. Into my homebrew world, I had to put them in somewhere.
Oh, the Dead 3, excellent.
You're probably not going to meet them for years to come, but I had to put them in somewhere, and they are large and in charge somewhere.
Great, I love because the Dead 3 are great.
Like in terms of villains, like they probably hate each other, but they kind of need each other,
and they've been lumped in together as well with the worship because the Absolute. Wait.
Yeah.
The Absolute is something to do with the Dead 3. It's not. I mean, not just one of them. It's all three of them.
I think they're not, because they're not gods at the time. Like, I think
you know what else? Do you know what I just realized the other day? I only just realized that the symbols kind of for the Dead 3, when you put them all together, it basically makes the symbol of the Absolute in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, that is awesome. I didn't even mention what their symbols were, because all the gods have symbols.
Go for it.
Merkel's is the triangle with the kind of black triangle with the skull in the middle.
Yeah.
Baal's is the skull in the circle surrounded by like drops of blood.
Yes.
And Bane's is the hand, or like a fist. I'm enjoying the book I'm reading, and I think I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes and how the Dead 3 are. Dead 3 are definitely the kind of antagonists.
Oh, they're for sure
of the story.
Yeah, they're the antagonists. So they're the antagonists of Baldur's Gate 3 too, in a way, in a roundabout way. I
did like how quickly the internet figured it out, though.
It wasn't Saul.
I mean, I've known it. Yeah, we've known about it for a while.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Dead 3 very interesting, very good, very good lore there. I enjoyed that a lot. I'm interested to see where the adventures of. I need to come up with a name for my wizard.
Andrew,
so original. Andrew,
it's just your name.
The wizard.
Andrew the wizard.
Yeah.
You could call me Andrew.
They call me Tim.
But yeah, so hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you learned a little bit about. I went on a bit of a tangent. I really like Theric.
Tangents are our specialty.
Tangents are our specialty. Hey, how about we wrap this shit up?
Yeah, let's do it. So I think we should talk about our most recent stream that we did.
It was going so well.
It started off really poorly because Twitch decided to just not work.
Hey everybody, be there for 8.
Be there
Twitch
for... Yes.
Twitch is fucked.
Twitch is fucked. I think we got going at 10:08.
Yeah, maybe a little bit later.
It's just like people just couldn't view streams, but maybe just in Europe. I don't know.
I just don't know anything about Twitch. Is this normal?
I have no idea. I don't think so. And then we had a PC crash on my end halfway through.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So we had to redo a little bit because I think we lost.
I think what was it? I think Alan was in the chat and he said that like you're not a streamer until you've had like, is it F in the chat?
F's in the chat. Yep.
I didn't know what that meant.
It's it's like the Call of Duty meme.
Oh yeah.
And then
press F to salute.
Yeah, and then
so dumb.
Towards the end of the stream, my wife let the dog outside for her bedtime pee. There's ritual.
Right.
And she was outside, sitting on her phone. And one of the cats must have got past her. Because we have no. I know where you're going with this. We have 2 cats.
I have questions.
Yeah, we have 2 cats. They're ragdolls.
Yeah.
They don't do well outside. They won't survive. They don't have the temperament.
Right, but they're cats. Wouldn't they just come back?
No,
I had a cat.
No, these ones.
I had a cat. And if you let her out, because she would meow at the door, if you let her out, she would scamper off into the garden.
Yeah.
And you'd wait at the door. If she didn't come back, you would close the door, and that was it.
No, these.
And then in the morning, you'd open the door, and she'd be waiting there because she'd be like, "I'm cold and hungry, thanks." we had a cat door on the shed. She could go in the shed. There was a bed in there for her. She was fine.
We've not really tested it with these boys because they will run away. They won't come back. They'll get hit by a car or they'll just get kidnapped because they're so trusting of people.
Apparently, that is a thing.
Yeah.
I meet ragdolls quite a lot when I'm out and about, and they're always they're like nice. They're really cool cats.
They're so friendly, which is.
But I have met ragdolls outside.
Well, I'm not taking that risk. Anyway, the cat got outside and.
It clearly wanted to go outside because it's a fucking cat, Andrew. And it was
they do love outside, but they'll die. So anyway, I had to abandon the stream to go look for a cat outside.
Yeah, the stream had to end because it's funny that a themage of cats is appearing in our live streams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they help us and then they hinder us,
and then they make the live stream stop.
Yeah, so we had to stop mid battle. We were fighting some gnolls. We had to stop. So I had to, cats v dogs. I had to go and so I will apologize.
Apparently, if you put butter on your cat's feet and then let them go outside, they can find their way back.
Okay.
Apparently, that's what I heard. If you move somewhere new,
I'm not going to test it.
I mean, you live in the middle of like buttfuck nowhere. There's like, I'm pretty sure your cat would return.
I think they would find a cliff and they would jump off.
There's not what's your nearest cliff?
Not that far.
Like a mile?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But then I don't think a cat would just jump right off a cliff. They're not suicidal.
Yeah, but they're not clever.
Edit. What's our socials, Andrew? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So if you want to join Cat Watch again, you can join us this Thursday, 14th of September at 8 p.m. GMT. We'll be continuing our Gnoll fight, and hopefully no cats.
We just picked Carlac up.
We did. Hopefully no cats.
She's a treasure.
When the making of this broadcast.
Put butter on their feet.
I'll just put butter on their feet. See what happens.
Before you start streaming. Yeah, they'll be fine.
I
love it.
We are on YouTube as well. Straight Out Avernus on YouTube. I must admit I've been very lazy. Last week's podcast episode was not on there because
oh my god,
I've just been. It can't be arsed.
That's okay. I mean, I'm meant to be editing that video, and I've been.
First stream.
I'm getting through it.
Yeah, that'll be out in a month.
There's a lot of chaff to get through.
We are on TikTok as well, although I haven't used it yet. So don't.
Hey, fuck all that shit.
So
just join our Discord.
So yes, we have a Discord where we are straight out of Avernus. 3 separate words this time. And I think that's all you need to join a Discord server. I don't know how it works.
But, yeah,
which is why
we've got a man on the inside.
We got man on the inside. We say man. We don't know.
I mean,
who knows?
I mean, if you assume you make an ass out of you and me.
Yeah. So we'll give a big shout out to Chef Dirk on Instagram, who is a big fan apparently, which means there's something wrong with him.
He's pretty clear got nothing better to do.
No, but he's transformed this Discord server into something that could actually be usable and could have some good chats going on it. So join the Discord, chat. Just get chat.
We're in there, so we will respond.
Yeah, get in there. We'll put updates and stuff on there as well. It could be a good little place to congregate. And
we could talk about dead lads.
Yeah, dead lads. Yeah, we are on the trio of Unalive Deities.
There you go.
We are also on Instagram, where some updates go out on there as well. Straight Out Avernus again.
Wow.
We have an email. straightoutavernusbg3@gmail.com if you want to go there. Have I missed anything? Oh shit! You can find this podcast on wherever you're listening to it right now, and Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. We are Straight Out of Avernus.
This was the worst one you've done.
It really was. I think I'd get better, but it's going backwards. Like,
well,
no, R2, we need to be going up, not down.
Who writes these scripts? Yeah, I need to go murder somebody because if I don't do it in the next day or two, Bal's gonna get angry and I've got to do more.
Oh dear.
So just back to that grind, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go play Starfield. No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna play Baldur's Gate 3. I've got the rest of the night to just chill and play Baldur's Gate 3, so I'm gonna play it.
Nice. Anyway, thank you for listening, listener.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to more waffle.
God, that was a mess at the end. I'm so sorry.
Hey, it's late. I've not had enough coffee.
Bye.
Bye. Can we backtrack?
Yeah.
Can we start again?
Yeah. The whole thing.
Because this felt really like no energy.
Okay. Okay, let's go. Enthused. Energy.
Yeah.
Go.
I'm your host, or one of. Jesus Christ.
Heyo. However,
I can hear that.
Yeah, bloody cat. What? Come in then. Come on. I opened the door for you before. Don't be a dick.
Do you want to start again? Because I could hear that through the whole thing.
Oh God. From where?
From the beginning. It was like after I passed to you, I could hear this.
Okay.
Okay, take three.
Take three.
Welcome to Straight Out of... I can hear that too.
I can cut that. If on my end, I can mute it.
Okay.